Hey everybody, it's the Bulldog, Mr. Metalhead Boy NY. How you guys doing out there? I want to take time to welcome everybody back in. I want to thank everybody that's been tuning in, that left comments about past videos. I appreciate it. Also, gotta wish the one, the only, the Australian black metal king himself, Lee from Warhammer 666, a very, very happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday, many, many more. Um, I'll probably do it later on again. Um, By the time you see this will be on maybe Wednesday. That this will be up. So again, Lee, my brother, I love you, man. Happy birthday, man. Stay hard. Keep that black metal flowing. All right, I want to get into more albums that have come out 2025. This one's gonna be more of like the thrashy albums, crossover type, the black and thrash type sounding albums, in speed metal. And there's been a number of albums that have come out like for thrash metal and speed that I've been looking forward to. So let me get to start off. One of the first one is by Warbringer, um, Wrath and Ruin. This came out on Napalm Records, as did their past three records, I believe. Um, have been on Napalm. Um, Again, they left Century Media. Um, I want to say um, Empire Collapse record, I believe it was. That was 13, I think, or something in that realm. I think it sounds better as like, don't get me wrong, I like Century Media. I've said this before about bands. It seems when they leave Century Media, they go to, you know, labels that are harder, a little bit heavier, that are more oriented to heavier bands, heavier sounding bands. They put out pretty goddamn good records, and this is no exception. Um, I've been into these guys since '06. Yes, '06, MySpace days. Yes, way back. Um, this is their MySpace EP. At the time, it was only available on MySpace. One by one, the Wicked Fall. Um, I remember when the guys reached. I was on Facebook and I never heard of these guys. An ex friend of mine mentioned them and said check them out. And I remember going to their site and it blew me away. Um, but it came out in '06. '06. If you don't have this, look on. Uh, you could probably look on Bandcamp. You could probably find this on eBay, maybe. But that's the MySpace EP. That's their first EP. Come out in '06. Absolute killer stuff. Very underground, more of a crossover sound. But anyways, um, first time I saw these guys, I like didn't know who they were. Like I said, I think I saw them. I think Municipal Waste opened for them, or they opened for them. Skeleton, which I believe, and it was like the first time seeing all three of these bands, and all three of them blew me away. And Warbringer has just been a constant with me. I love the sound of them. This album is no different. Um, like I said, came out on Napalm Records. Um, it's it still has that heavy thrashy sound, almost like a crossover sound to them. Um, Very melodic and riff driven, which it, it's worked for them in the past, but now I think it's even more. Still a great, great heavy record, moshy at times. Um, but they this one I noticed they go more of like some of the songs are like progressive, atmospheric in some senses, um, experimenting, sometimes. But all in all, it's a killer record. I think John's vocals on this are some of the best. His range is top notch. The drumming on this is perfect. Um, Very, very heavy breakdowns on this. The leads, again, like I said, it's just an all around great, great fucking record. I think. Carlos Cruz's drummers, like I said, are just insane. There's the cover of it. There's the back. This also came with a bonus disc, Ravaging Europe, from their 2023 tour, which I missed that tour. I think I was working or something, or we were moving. Um, Very good album, heavy record. I guess I think it's one of their best ones. I do like the album cover. There is some AI in this, you can tell, but I think it's all in all, I think it's a damn good album cover. Um, some of the songs that stuck out for me, um, the Jackhammer, I think it was Cage of Ear, which I think was a great song. Um, if I had to compare this to like any of their past ones, um, I would definitely go with of Weapons Weapons of Tomorrow, which I thought was a really strong album by them. Even their debut, which is my favorite by them, War Without End, a big heavy album. Like I said, they experiment a little bit with it, but it still has that that thrash metal, that speed metal moshy sound to it, um, like a crossover, almost like a punk hardcore mix in this, which I think it fits them really good. If you guys haven't got this record, get it. I think it's a killer release for 2025. I think it's one of the best thrash metal, speed metal records that was released. Um, but definitely check them out. Again, Warbringer, Wrath and Ruin on Napalm Records. Check these guys out. Next one was an album I was waiting for and ecstatic when they finally said they're putting it out. This was one of the ones that I was hoping for, for the thrash metal aspect. I couldn't wait for that in the Dark Angel. Well, I've said about the Dark Angel, I don't like it. Um, I've been listening to it more. It's not what I thought it was going to be, but I'll get to them in other streams. Maybe it'll grow on me. We'll see. But the one I want to talk about the most, New Sacrifice, Volume 6. Um, trying to remember what it came out on. Oh. Anyways, no matter what it came out on. High Roller Records. Thank you. This is their Killer Records. This is their, oh God, what's this? Well, it's their sixth installment overall. Um, it was like a 16-year hiatus for this one. Killer tracks top to bottom. The only two things I question on this is there's two instrumentals, which I think dragged down a little bit. I could have done without those, but other than that, this album it has that dark and thrash to it. Melodic at times, riff driven. I think the guitar work is insane. Original vocals, original members still in this band. Um, it just to have 4 original members come back together, it blew me away. Rob Erdich, yeah, I can't pronounce his last name. Urbianti, thank you. Vocals are like he never left. To have him with these vocals sound crisper and more, and even better than I think their past albums, is insane. The drumming on this, top notch, top to bottom. The ins, the outs, the drops, the heavies, the blast. There's some blast in this. The drops are like there's some hardcore drops, some crossover drops. I think it's tremendous. The guitar playing, these guys, the battling, the leads, the follows, how they basically fight each other at times, and it mixes absolutely great. Um, for a band that's been out since '86, um, Torment and Fire, their debut. I said it many times, and people have looked at me like, "Are you crazy?" Everybody knows how much I love Slayer. I'm a huge Slayer fan. I hold their early stuff, on top. Torment Fire, I think, is like a top two for me, top three from '86. It's an that debut by them is incredible. It's it's hard, it's heavy, it's in your face. I know Slayer Rain and Blood takes the cake. I understand that. I've said that too. Is it changed thrash metal. But this album by that debut by Sacrifice is just insane. Um, they being from Canada, there's so many other bands. You know, you have Annihilator, another great Canadian thrash band. Voivod. Um, what was it? Razor, I think it was another one. But these guys have always been hard. They've been heavy. I don't think they put out a bad album. Period. In the whole catalog, and this one just um it it's a great record. From the start of it, it starts off a little intro type, and then it just dives right into it. Comatose, you know, um, Antidote of Poison, which is a great track. Um, Explode, I thought was one of the best ones on this record. Like I said, there's two instrumentals, Black Hashish and um, what was it? I think it was War Eclipse, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I got it written down. Yeah. Um, or I was like Lunar Eclipse. I'm thinking of another album that I have over here. I just look at Lunar Eclipse and Black Hashish. Their instrumentals not that bad. I just think it was just a filler. I think they could have. I think they could have made those two songs into one. But with that being said, I mean it's been like it was 16-year hiatus that they've been haven't put anything out. Remember they did this in the past with their '93 release, um, Apocalypse Inside. Their next one that came out was what '09, and that was um, When I Condemn. I think it was '09 record. I have it over there. Um, and that was like a what 18, 17 year difference. So these guys have done it in the past. But again, check these guys out. Check the album out. Um, that's the inside of it. Absolute killer return by these guys. It's definitely one of my tops of the year, top picks of the year. Um, Definitely my comeback album of the year. Um, Sacrifice Volume 6, um, High Roller Records. Check it out. I'm saying it right now. This is 100% better than the new Dark Angel. And like I said, I'll get to the new Dark Angel later on. But this album for me, 100% better than that record, hands down. Sacrifice, check them out. One of the next ones needs no introduction. Destruction, another German Teutonic band, thrash metal band. Being up there with Sodom uh, and Creator, who not only Sodom released a new one, which I covered. Creator's new one is coming out. Supposed to be in January, but I heard it sounds really good. So I'm looking forward to that. Getting back to Destruction, Birth of Malice came out. Another one came out on Napalm Records. Killer release by these guys. Um, it's just one of these records that you know these guys have been putting out records now since '83, '84, like 42 years now, and they're still going strong, putting out tremendous albums after album. I think this one is definitely one I will put up in their top 10 of their catalog. Um, Killer start to finish. Gods of Gore, for example. Um, it's, it's I've called them the pioneers of Euro thrash for many years. Um, that'll never change. One of my favorite, you know, I couple my favorite albums by them. Like the 1990 release, um, Cracked Brain, um, All Shall Perish, or all Hell's Breaking Loose 2000. Um, my favorite, personal favorite, 87 release from Agony, another killer record. This one, it has that true thrash sound. Um, Hardcore elements in this, which I was very surprised by that they did it, but it fits right in. Some like a crossover sound to them, riff driven. The guitars just battle each other. It's typical sounding to destruction, melodic at times. There's some punk to this, which I again great sounding. I like how they just threw it in there. Vocals are just par none. Um, I think it's Dealer of Death, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Dealer of Death. It's basically a tribute, to, in my opinion, to past bands. Thrash like Metallica Exodus, Death Angel, um, even Sacrifice, and Laz Rocket. To be honest with you, it has that old style um, thrash metal feel. The start of it sounds just like Metallica. It really really does. Um, the heaviness of it, the breakdowns, the thrashiness of it, the moshiness sound to it. A lot of moshy parts throughout this record. Has that has the 80s 90s feel, but with a more modern kick to it. Um, you know, those don't know Randy Black, who was in Annihilator, Wasp, and shit, I sure was on the other band. Primal Fear is doing drums on it. Killer, killer drummer, absolutely perfect. Schmear's vocals, like always, in your face, grabs your attention. I'm sorry, it's grimy at times, gritty. It's just Schmear doing what he does the best. Doesn't let down, puts it all out there. Um, Demir Martin's guitar playing, like I said, battling for supremacy, for leads and trade offs and riffs. It's just great, great stuff. Um, Scumbag Human Race was another one, as I mentioned about Dealer of Death. Um, Fast as a Shark. It's just it's a damn good album all the way around. Not a bad track. It's one of those albums you could just put on and just let it go. I think their past three, including this one, have been phenomenal records. I know you know, they went through that one period where there were, people didn't know if they could get any better than they did, especially in the '80s and through the '90s. Because I always thought their early '90s stuff, Midnight, was really really good. But these past 3, 4 records that they put out have been nothing short but absolutely destruction perfectly. So definitely check that one out. One of the next ones I want to get to is by Game Over. I had to do a little background more on these guys. This is their sixth full length. I'm missing a couple of their things. Um, I have the past two, there's three. Latest one is Face the End. Old school thrash. It came out on Scarlet Records. Um, Old school thrash metal, speed, mosh, punky sound to it. if you're into Anthrax, Exodus, Rothschild America, um, Overkill, even Nuclear Assault Driven, definitely check these guys out. Um, it's gone through a number of changes. Um, the original, it was the original founder and bassist, lead singer, left. um, it replaced. It was just. I think it was better for them. I know there's a lot of infighting going on with them at one point. Like I said, I recently got into these guys probably about the last two, three releases, maybe. But I like these guys. It reminds me of like I said, their early mid '90s thrash metal. You know how that whole scene was. Some of the song, "Lust for Blood," "Neck Breaking Dance." You guys can figure out what that is. Um, "Veil of Insanity," "Gateway to Infinity," "Crimson Waves" is another one. Like I said, if you guys like that old thrash metal speed crossover hardcore punk fused, definitely check these guys out. Like I said, I'm missing a couple of them, which I'm probably gonna end up getting soon. But Game Over, Face the End, old school at its best, I think. I got two more. One, one of the last ones I just threw in. Um, Next one is Misfire. I love these guys. I've been into these guys since I first heard them. Um, if you like um, Gamma Bomb, Municipal Waste, Warbringer, even Skeleton Witch, check these guys out. Um, Old school feel to them, punky, thrashy, like I said, crossover sound, riffs, melodic at times, very heavy. Breakdowns are insane on this. Um, it's definitely one of those albums I think topped their first one. And I think their first one that came out what 20 or 18, 21. Um, Simply for the Ignorant, great record. I think this one tops it. If not, it comes really close to them. Um, Sorry, I'm going through. I got some others I really want to get to. Um, Check these guys out. Misfire album is product product of the environment. I think I might screw something up. I'm not 100% sure. I'll fix it in the comments if anything. Um, like I say, if you're into um, like those again, like Nuclear Assault, Municipal Waste, Warbringer, bands like that, much like Game Over, um, same same line of them, same intensity too. Um, this came out on. I don't remember what this came out on. I don't remember what it came out. I didn't write it down either. Anyways, oh, MRK MNRK Heavy, Monarch Heavy Records. Like I said, old school thrash, speed metal, some crossover thrown in, punk fused, and I gotta give these guys credit. I love their album covers. No AI bullshit. You know, I I'm trying to find this on a shirt. Definitely, definitely Misfire, Product the Environment. Check these guys out. All right, one of the last ones I want to talk about Motorhead, the Minotaur tapes. This is an actual release. This is um, an unreleased album from 1976. This is one of the first ever Motorhead releases. Yes, this was recorded at the Emerson Lake and Palmer studio, Manticore, and that's how they got the Manticore tapes. There was no name for this. This sat desolate in like a safe or a vault for a number of years. Um, right around when Lemmy passed away, rest your soul. Um, they talked about putting it out. Nothing came about with it. Um, and then I think it was like 18 or 19 is when they really started to talk about it. It's a really good Motorhead record. Um, Lemmy's prior band, Hawkeye, or how you want to pronounce it, I've always called it Hawkeye or Hawkwind, but it's Hawkeye. Um, they there's a couple songs on here that Hawkeye covers, and there's also um, the original sounding song Motorhead is on here. You can see it right there. It's There's absolutely no type of sound quality to it. It's raw. It's ragged. It has that early like that early metal sound of like Sabbath. Um, and it combined. I think this record combined that that early sound of Motorhead, just tuned down a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? And with him being Hawkeye, these songs were supposed to be part of theirs. Um, like I said, it was recorded there, the Emerson Lake and Palmer Studios, Manticore Studios. It just sat in a vault. It sat there for numerous years until recently. Um, Definitely, if you're a Motorhead fan like I am, I'm a diehard fan of Motorhead, big collector of Motorhead. Um, get this record. Like I say, it's an unofficial first release by these guys. Um, I think it's a tremendous tribute that they put it out now for Lemmy and you know everybody. Because think about it, the original members of Motorhead are all passed on, all of them. You know, um, there was talk about a box set coming out from Motorhead. I haven't heard anything more. It was supposed to be some of the last shows together and last recordings that never really flourished. From what I read and I heard, I saw, they had about 15 to 20 songs ready to go for a couple more albums. And then, as you know, Lemmy passed away. Um, Mickey D is still doing his thing. He's Last I remember, he was still on tour with King Diamond, and I think he was filling in on drums too for Merciful Fate, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but I would love for them to come up with something, maybe unreleased tracks for Lemmy. I know I forgot what label it was. Um, is starting to reissue a lot of the early Motorhead records on vinyl, like a picture disc, like a marble red and black disc or something like that vinyl. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But definitely check out that record, Minicore Tapes. This is an unofficial first recording by Motorhead. Check this out. I know a lot of people haven't been talking about that record. I think a lot of people have thought it was B sides or something. No, it's an official release. So definitely check that out. Sorry, I was all over the place. I have a lot going on in my head. um, like I said, again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope you enjoy this as much as I like doing it. Um, Definitely check out the albums. Definitely the destruction and the sacrifice. That sacrifice is absolutely mind blowing. Um, Great guys, still around the original lineup. The Warbringers, same thing. Also, check out the Game Over and Misfire. If you guys like that, that late '80s, '90s old school thrash metal sound, moshy parts to it, that punky um, sound. Definitely check it out. I mean, a lot of good thrash metal bands coming out. A lot of good releases came out this year. I just got some more in today. which I'm gonna be listening to. I have some other stuff coming, probably in the next week or so. Um, I got the New Testament album coming, I got the new Coroner album coming, I got the new Biohazard coming. Um, New Ashen is coming. I got a new November's Doom coming. I got a bunch of stuff coming. I got still got my order coming from Hell's Headbangers. So and I got two more coming from Bandcamp, which I gotta check on. So sorry for rambling, but anyways, again, Lee from Warhammer, brother. Happy birthday. Stay metal. Stay black metal. Keep it dark, brother. Anyways, this is the Bulldog. I always say, stay hard, stay heavy, stay metal, stay brutal. Don't ever let people tell you you can't listen to something. Freedom of speech. Period. Fuck censorship. Anyways, I'm out. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Again, if you like, share my channel out, share the video out. I'm humbled by it. I appreciate you guys. As always, as I say, if you're gonna do something, make that shit count. Bulldog says, later.